Hello, welcome back to another episode. How are you doing? How is homeschool going? How is your life? How are you? Honestly, I really do care. I would love for you to reach out, tell me, how are you doing? I'd love to hear from you. I'm doing pretty good. Life is 50-50, right? So 50% of the time it is amazing, and 50% of the time I'm trying to figure stuff out. So super duper fun. Today, I want to talk to you about the process of creation and the process that I learned when I went to the Creation Coach School from Brooke Snow of really how to create something. And I'm excited about this, and I want to talk to you about this because I'm getting ready for the No Yelling course that I'm doing as a 9-month course this year. And I just want to give you more time to be more prepared to really become that next version of yourself that no longer yells. Just can you imagine what starts happening in your home and in that dynamic and that culture when you're not yelling anymore? And I've seen this not only in my own home, but in so many clients' homes. Of all of a sudden, children start listening better. Homeschool gets to just be fun. Mom feels much more relaxed and is enjoying motherhood and all these things. And so I know it looks like this thing like, okay, I'm not going to yell anymore. And we think it's just going to be about us. But what happens is the positive ripple effect that comes from it is so amazing that your homeschool just the whole dynamic of it starts shifting. School gets to just be fun and relaxed and so many more things when there isn't this contention and this yelling in it. So whether or not you can do the course, I'd love to have you. But if even if you're just wanting help to like, how do I create something amazing in my life, whatnot, I'm just going to share with you about the law of creation and how we do it. So basically, it is see, say, feel, do, become. It is very similar to the model from the Life Coach School of circumstance, thoughts, feeling, actions, results. And it was interesting. I had the opportunity to talk to Brooke Snow, and she actually didn't even know the model. And so it's beautiful. Truth is truth. And however you package it, right? Like Byron Katie says kind of the same things, but in her own way and in her own words. And so, whichever works best for your brain and how you want to implement these things into your life, fantastic. So, this is just another option of another tool you can use. And I just really love the way that Brooke Snow put this into words. So let's start with C. When you are wanting to create something new, this calm, patient, loving version of yourself, you need to be able to see her. Maybe that's not you. Maybe you're like, I want to be the person who has more energy, who is more fun, who is excited to go do things with my kids, whatever that is. I want you to start to see her. What does she look like? Think of it as having a blueprint of a house before you start building. If you don't have a blueprint, then the house is not going to look like the way you want it to look, right? Can you imagine if you just had like all these builders show up, and so you have your carpenter and you a framer, plumber, electrician, all these types of things, and they're just like, go for it, like whatever works, and like we're gonna put something up, and you come together and like, this is chaos, this doesn't flow, this is weird, why did we put this here, right? And they're like, well, you didn't tell us what you wanted, so we did whatever we wanted. So really start trying to see what this future self looks like. What are you even trying to create? Because if you don't know what you're trying to create, then it doesn't matter what you do, right? So getting very clear, what does she look like? Does she wear different clothes, right? I am literally in sweats. They're my favorite. Does my future self wear sweats? Probably, because she thinks they're super comfortable. When I go out, I try to put on pants and whatnot. I mean, I have pants on, but just like jeans or whatever. But like, does she dress differently than what you currently are doing? How does she handle situations, right? So if there's a spill, you could even think about this with things that kind of trigger you. Like if there's a spill or if there's a mess, how does she handle it? She takes a big deep breath. She gets recentered. She walks away because she's like, she doesn't even want to deal with it, whatever. I don't care what it is. But start getting really curious. How does she handle situations? What are some of her habits? How does she take care of herself? All of those types of things. Getting really curious and start seeing, who is this person? The clearer that you can see her, the easier it is to create her. Just like having a blueprint, right? So when you're creating a home, You are very clear, like you have an electrical prince, and I don't know all the technical names, right? But you have like, here's where outlets are going to be, here is where all these things are going to be. So when the builders come, they know exactly where things should go. And even when we redid our kitchen about a year ago, of being very clear, like outlets was one of the things that I said, I want more outlets. And like just even where the windows were going to be and all these types of things, I was able to create something very beautiful, but I had very clear plans. Like we had to change windows around and what is that going to look like? And so then we had to adjust the sink and all of these types of things. But we were able to create something amazing because we had very clear plans. And I was always working together with the general contractor and the subs and all those types of things of being very clear of this is what I'm trying to create. If you don't have that, right, you get odd things. And I love my sweet, wonderful home. It is a lovely roof over my head. It is a 1970s design, and we've redone a bunch of stuff, but there's still, I mean, we could invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this house back to, I don't know, what's the right nice word, like a normal house? But like one of the things the electrician did is they put light switches behind our doors. And not just like a little bit behind our door, but like all the way to where, like if the door's open, think of like right there to the wall, all the way to the very back is where light switches are. And it's so funny because I don't know if they just went for it and they didn't have blueprints. But my point is, if you don't have very clear blueprints, then for example, like this electrician, he just kind of threw things together, right? And it's not going to be the most functional. It is not functional, by the way, to have light switches behind your door. It is very inconvenient, all those types of things. So getting very clear and seeing what it is you want to create. So the next step is to say. And this usually looks like an affirmation. And it's interesting because some people may think affirmations are cheesy or dumb or whatever. Great. That's fine. I'm not going to debate you on that. But you're probably already saying affirmations. And what happens a lot of times is those affirmations a lot of times are negative. Oh, I'm just so angry all the time. Oh, I am a hot mess. Oh, I'm such a crazy mother. I am so impatient, right? So a lot of times we have negative affirmations that we've been saying for years. And now we're just going to be very intentional with some positive affirmations. So, and I like, did I already say this? To make sure it's an I am statement. So, what is the person that you want to create? Is she loving? So then it would be I am loving. Is she fun? So your I am statement would be I am fun. Is she relaxed? I am relaxed. My I am statement was I am an amazing mother. I hung that up. I had on a tiny little post-it note and I hung it up on my mirror and I looked at it every day. Whenever a problem arose and I didn't know how to handle it, I would check in with my future self. I remember I was time. My husband was in Africa. I was doing the single mom thing. I was at a basketball game, and my two youngest sons, full blown, started fighting at a basketball game, watching another son play basketball. So I'm sitting there by myself. I'm running a little bit on empty, and I just sat there looking at my sons like, huh, what do I do in this situation? Honestly, like there's no book of like, hey, if you've been doing the single mom life and you're all alone and you're a little bit tired and you're a little bit lonely and all these things, and then your two boys like start wrestling, fighting each other in a public situation, this is what you should do, right? So I checked in with my future self. I said, okay, well, I'm an amazing mom. So, how would an amazing mom handle this situation? And it was interesting because instantly in my mind, it was like she wouldn't worry about it. And it was funny because I thought, like, you get worried about what other people are going to think, like, oh, you're a really neglectful parent. You're not going to stop these two from fighting or whatnot. So I just thought, okay, I'm not going to do anything. And I didn't. And guess what happened? Within like 30 seconds, my boys were done. They were done fighting and just like, okay, we figured it out. So it was so fun to just check in with her. So part of that saying is being very clear of this is what I'm going to create and I am that person. And I'm going to practice saying that. I'm an amazing mother. And it's so fun because I started saying that for so long that it has become my true belief that I'm like, yeah, I am an amazing mother. And guess what? Sometimes an amazing mother, she gets things wrong. Sometimes an amazing mother rolls her eyes. Sometimes an amazing mother, whatever, right? And it's just been so fun to show up in that space. So that is the say part. The next step is to feel. Did you know that they have found that the quickest way to retrain your brain is through meditation? So, oh, and if you can generate the feeling with the meditation, it will happen even quicker. So, how does your future self feel? Confident, compassionate, understanding, loving, gentle, kind, right? You could list so many emotions. How does your future self feel? If she pick of whatever the feeling is, and then you need to practice feeling that emotion. And it sounds so funny. And I've actually worked with a lot of teens on this. I was working with one teen in particular, and he was about to go and serve a mission. And I had the opportunity to coach him before he went and started. And he's just like, I'm not a confident person. I'm just not confident. And I said, well, you got to practice. Like, he was into some different sports and whatnot. So we talked about the sports that he was in. And I said, were you naturally good? He was into swimming. I said, were you a naturally good swimmer? And he's like, no, I was terrible. I had to work really hard and I put in all this effort. And all of a sudden, I became a pretty good swimmer. And I said, well, emotions are the same way. Like, some people may have a natural disposition for something. Like, my husband really loves languages, but he's so maybe there was some natural talent there, maybe some gifts and all those things, but then he put forth a lot of effort to become amazing with languages, right? So sometimes we look at that like, well, I could never be amazing with languages because, like, I'm not that guy. But if you want to become good at something, you just have to practice it. Whether that is the piano, swimming, or feeling a positive emotion. You have to practice feeling what does it feel like. Um, so if you want to be a person that feels that way, which is loving, understanding, kind, gentle, confident, you need to practice feeling it. So let's say your future self is confident. What does confidence feel like in your body? So for me, when I feel confident, I feel a powerful surge running through my body. Like, it is exciting and it is this high intense electricity and it feels really good. I put my shoulders back and my chest out, right? I hold my head up. A lot of times there's a smile or like an intensity in my face of just like, yes, I've got this. So get clear what emotion you want to feel and then start learning what that feels like in your body, and then start practice that feeling along with your I am statement while you envision your future self, right? So in your meditation, you can sit and envision this future self, right? Get really clear with this blueprint. It was interesting. I watched something the other day where they were just practicing memory, and they had somebody look at a map of, like, to go through the forest or something, like, hey, these are the landmarks you're going to look for and this is how you're going to make your way back. And as they practiced this and then took it away, they were able to do it, right? So, like, really start seeing this person inside and out. And so it's just like, oh yeah, I know what she does. I know how she handles things because I've seen this so many times in my head. So you're practicing your meditation and you're seeing her and you're saying this I am statement. I am an amazing mom. I am the coolest mother ever. I am so understanding. I am very patient. Whatever that is for you, and then generate that feeling with it. And that is the shortcut way of getting there even faster. So the next step is do. And this is the action step. What does your future self do? So it's all great and wonderful to sit and envision this, right? Like, okay, she's kind and she's loving and oh, she feels so good and all these things. But you actually have to put forth some effort. I love in a talk years ago from President Nelson, he says, the Lord loves effort. Like, you have to put forth effort. You don't just get to magically say, I'm going to think about being really good at the piano. And I'm going to say, I'm an amazing pianist. And I'm going to feel really confident with the piano and then never touch a piano. Like, I have to also do that doing part. So what does she do? Maybe she's really good at taking care of herself. So she's not running on empty. Maybe she studies a lot and reads a lot of books, watches YouTubes. Maybe she's in my membership and is getting coached, right? Maybe she is slow to respond to messes and tantrums. Get very clear on what she does so that you can start to do those things. Now, if you were like, okay, here's this laundry list of all these things that she does, and now you're overwhelmed and whatnot, don't do that to yourself. Take one thing. Some people like to start with the hardest thing, and some people like to start with the easiest thing. Whatever works for your brain is the right answer, right? So if you're like, I'm going to do the hardest thing and get that going, or some people like the easiest thing so then you can get momentum going, whatever feels best to you. So start doing one of those things. And maybe that is honestly scheduling yourself first in your calendar. Like, okay, she's really good at doing something for herself. I just talked to a friend the other day who is very introverted and she needs to schedule alone time. So maybe she shows up as a better mother when she's made sure she has had some time to reconnect with herself and recenter so that she can show up better. So if that is you, like, so maybe that's the first thing she does. She schedules something in for herself. So Thursday night, I actually go to a hotel and I sleep there by myself or whatever that would look like for you. Maybe it's like I have a trade with my neighbor and she watches my kids at her house so I can just be home alone. And I turn off my phone and I lock the door and I have no interruptions for a few hours and it's glorious, right? So whatever works for you, whatever she does. Um, so this process does not happen overnight. Anybody who's telling you that something's going to happen in a really quick, short amount of time, like it sounds so good to our brains, like fantastic. You mean I only had to drink this one drink and I'm going to drop 20 pounds? It would be beautiful, but it's not real. Lasting change takes some effort. So, oh, I almost forgot the last one. So we have see, say, feel, do. And then the last step is become because we practice see, say, feel, do on repeat, right? And I love the way that Brooke did this is that she actually put it in, if you know what the infinity sign looks like, right? Like it's a number 8 flipped on its side. And it has see, say, feel, do on it in an infinity sign. And as you do this on repeat, you become. As I practice saying, I'm an amazing mother, and I checked in, what does an amazing mother do? She asks questions. Do you know how many times problems have not escalated into fights with my children by just getting curious? She is so good at asking questions like, oh, how come you were late? Oh, why didn't you get your chores done? Instead of like, oh my gosh, you're so lazy. Why did you not get your chores done? Right? Just like my mom, my amazing self, she asks questions, right? So as you do those things, then you become that person. That's funny if I forgot the become part. That would be interesting, right? You're just like, oh, what do I do? I just I just keep trying and hopefully I get there. But you do get there as you're willing to put forth some of the effort. So I want to help you this year as you are creating this next version of yourself that doesn't yell anymore, that learns to enjoy your kids, that feels confident in your homeschool or whatever it is you are trying to create. I want to invite you to come and join me for this year's No Yelling course. I'm so excited that it's going to be a 9-month course because I think I really want to help you to become that person and have lasting change versus just grit your teeth for 30 days and just like, I'm not going to yell at you guys for 30 days. And when December comes, like, I'm just going to explode and yell at everybody, right? So I want to help everybody who wants to do this. And the reason I do this with homeschooling is because I have just seen it work miracles with all of a sudden, as you become this person, your children no longer are fighting with you so much. You feel happier. Your children are so much more willing to listen to you. You start to become their ally and their friend and their mentor because there isn't this contention between you. Homeschool just gets to flow and have this rhythm because you know how to work together with your children. It is so, so darn amazing. So I decided to add something. So you're gonna get videos, you're getting a private Facebook group, monthly coaching calls, all of those types of things. But I was thinking about this because last year I have my Ironman coach, and last year I did something with her where I checked in with her every week, and I also got a monthly coaching program with her. And then this year I'm just kind of doing the group version. And it was so interesting that I thought I miss those private sessions with her with that accountability of her checking in with me every single week and also being able to kind of message her randomly throughout the week of like, hey, I killed it on this workout, or like, hey, I'm really struggling. I don't want to do anything right now, right? Of having somebody there for a little bit more accountability. So I've decided to offer a VIP package. Now, because I will be much more involved, I only have a space for 10 people for this. But this will give you access to weekly check-ins, a spot where you will be able to contact with me throughout the week if you need a little bit more boost or you want to celebrate a win, and then also monthly coaching sessions with me. Now, everybody in the program is getting a private coaching call with me in November because I want everyone to be able to complete No Yell November to get their amazing prize and all those fun things. So if you are ready, or you just want to find out more about it, I encourage you to go over to coachmegthomas.com. And if you click on the link that says no yelling, you will be able to go read more about that. The VIP, I will actually have you apply for it. So there won't be an option to sign up because I only have 10 spots available for that. So, anyways, I cannot wait to see what you amazing, amazing humans are going to create. And I love that I get to be a part of the journey and cheering you on. So have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you next time.